Hi, this is Dr. Mike DeBoard. Very excited today to share with you this video and explanation of the effects of Be Strong training on my hip replacement recovery. Here's a picture of me. I'm approximately 53 years old, about 200 pounds, and I stay in pretty good shape. I previously had a left hip replacement in March of 2014. I underwent the normal rehabilitative protocol and exercise prescribed by my physician, went to physical therapy, and did a specific set of exercises. And then I had recently a right hip replacement. Now the great part about this is I have the opportunity to compare a left hip replacement to a right hip replacement. The only difference is introducing Be Strong training into the same rehabilitative protocol or same exercises. And as you're going to see here in a few minutes, the results are absolutely amazing. Now here's what normal recovery time is. But first, to understand a hip replacement, it's a very invasive procedure where they have to cut open the hip, cut through all the hip musculature, cut off the head of the femur, bore out the cup or socket of the acetabulum to put the parts back in, and then they sew you back up. So there's a lot of soft tissue damage to the musculature, which requires a long recovery time. Typically, it's a minimum of 4 weeks to be able to start walking without resistance. Light activity or return to work, minimum 6 weeks. Full recovery is typically 12 weeks or longer. But what's going to be interesting is what's going to happen if we were to introduce Be Strong rehabilitation into the same protocol or Be Strong training. Well, here's what normal rehab looks like, and I've gone through this before. Normal rehab is low intensity range of motion exercises. Unfortunately, that does not fatigue muscle. If you look over there on the left, these are the exercises I'm going to do, the same ones as before, which are light exercises to try to stimulate function in the hip. The problem is this is not stimulating exercise. It doesn't allow you to work the muscle to fatigue or burn. And what happens is by the time you can get back to stimulating exercise at week 4 or week 6 or week 8, you've gone through atrophy and deconditioning. Last time I lost approximately 2 to 3 inches on my quadricep and hamstring on the left side. And even more important, where's the growth hormone coming from? If you watched our previous video on the science of B3 training with Be Strong, the training with B3 bands creates a great growth hormone response that causes healing. And unfortunately, when you go through surgery or injury, you're not active, and therefore you're not stimulating growth hormone, which is desperately needed for systemic healing in the body. And as we learned on that last video, there was a growth hormone study done on 11 untrained men who did exercise, light exercise with Be Strong and without Be Strong. And there's a 25 times greater release of growth hormone when you add the bands or blood flow modification to your training. And many of you are already experiencing this in your training, the results you're seeing, and I know I've seen in my results. But I was very excited to see what's going to happen when I introduce Be Strong training and I'm able to get that growth hormone release in my body that I normally wouldn't be able to get after surgery. So here's my training goals. I had a good discussion with Dr. Jim Stray-Gunderson. He's our chairman of our medical advisory board. He's the developer of Be Strong. He's the world's #1 expert on blood flow modification training. He's done this with many Olympic athletes, and he said, look, Mike, we're going to follow the exact same hip rehab protocol. You're going to do the exact same exercises. In the first week, we're going to start working the non-hip muscles. That means I'm going to work my left leg and both my arms just like I would normally work in a workout. I'm going to work those out with light weights to keep the growth hormone surging through my body. And then after 1 week, when that suture's had a little bit of time to heal, we're going to add the Be Strong to both legs. Now, during this period, during week 1, during week 2, during the following weeks, I'm not going to change anything to my rehab. I'm just going to add the Be Strong bands in week 2 to both legs. So here I am at day 1 and day 2 in the hospital. I'm supposed to get up and walk twice a day with the walker. But what I'm going to do on day 1 and day 2 is I'm going to work the other 3 limbs to get a growth hormone surge in my body. What's that going to do? That growth hormone surge creates a systemic healing effect. What's systemic mean? It means it goes through my entire system, most importantly, including that surgically repaired hip. Let's watch these videos real quick. Hi, this is Dr. Mike with B3 Sciences. This is video number 2. I had a right hip replacement yesterday on this right hip, and we're immediately starting Be Strong workouts. Why are we doing that? We want to get that growth hormone surging through the body to stimulate rapid repair. So I'm going to do 3 sets of arm curls here, just like I would a normal workout. Then I'm going to do some shoulders, 3 sets of shoulders, and I'm going to do some rows just like this. Hi, this is Dr. Mike. Day 2 after my hip replacement surgery on this right hip. I've got the arm bands on and I'm doing my walking. And then after I walk, I can just stop and do some dips real quick and get that failure response on the arms, which is going to release that rapid growth hormone. So you can see here what I'm doing. I'm doing the normal walking and rest in the hospital, but I'm working the other 3 limbs to continue that growth hormone surge in the body, just like I would at home. Now also I want to point out to you here, if you look at my right knee, I also had a second surgical procedure. Before they did my hip replacement, they went into my right knee and cleaned it out and had to do a meniscus repair. So I'm dealing with 2 injured joints here, a knee and a hip, as I go through this process. Let's now go out to day 5. Here I am. I'm at home, and this was really the day that I was truly amazed and realized I was going to see absolutely amazing results. Here is where I'm going to now add the Be Strong to both legs. You can see the band on the right leg. It's a little bit lower than the left leg. Why did I do that? Because I'm putting that band on below the suture to protect the suture. And now I'm going to do the same exercises. I'm going to do a series of 5 to 6 exercises. You're going to see 2 of them. And then amazingly, after I work these muscles all around the hip and the leg, and I got a good pump on those muscles, watch what happens in this 3rd video. Literally on day 5, I'm able to start walking. Hi, this is Dr. Mike again with B3 Sciences. I'm at day 5. You can see I've got the band on the injured leg, the leg I had the hip replacement, and I had a knee arthroscopy. And today we're working out. We've graduated to, I've got a band over here, but it's below the suture, so it's not going to hurt that suture. And I'm progressing to workouts on each leg. This is the injured leg, doing short range of motion squats with assistance. Now normally, okay, Dr. Mike again on day 5 of my right hip replacement. Got the bands on both legs. This band is below the suture. I'm starting my hip workouts. Normally, this would be done without the band, but with the band on, I'm going to be able to get a failure response after. So you can see I'm doing my normal exercises, and what I quickly realized in my rehabilitation here is doing the same exercises, I'm getting a completely different feeling in these muscles. I'm actually getting a burn. Now, I couldn't do this before because when you've got a hip replacement, you've got that much injury, you can't put enough resistance on the joint, because you'll hurt the joint or it'll be very painful to get a fatigue response. And now watch what happens over on the right after I've gone through my 5 exercises. Dr. Mike, day 5 again. This is my 2nd video of the day. Now, before I started, I couldn't walk without the walker, but now that I got these muscles pumped up from the Be Strong band, you can see that I can walk now. And I'm not supposed to be walking without the walker until day 14. I'm at day 5 and I'm already walking. You see this? I got no weight on the walker there and I can walk backwards. So I'm progressing at least twice as fast than I would normally progress without the bands. So what's happening here is I'm stimulating muscles at a rate that I could not have done without adding the Be Strong training. I'm stopping the deconditioning, I'm getting growth hormone in for healing, and I'm rapidly stimulating return to function. Amazing what's already happening at day 5. Let's go out to day 10. Now again, I'm continuing the same exercises to fatigue or burn. Same process is going on. I'm getting daily growth hormone for healing, and I'm getting muscle work or or change in muscle strength to injured muscles without damaging those muscles. Again, I'm doing light exercises, but I'm able to stimulate these muscles for return to normal function. And last time, this took me day 28, so I'm literally twice as far ahead as I would normally be. Let's watch two videos here. One on the left is day 8, one on the right is day 9. B3 Science is day 8. This is Dr. Mike. Today I'm working on doing steps assisted. And again, without the band on, I wouldn't be able to get the muscle work to fatigue to stimulate the repair and rebuild response. But with the band on and doing assisted exercises, I can work this right hip muscle and get it to fatigue by doing reverse steps and forward steps. Again, just had a hip replacement, but with the band and doing controlled exercises, I'm not going to get any atrophy on that quad muscle. If you take a look here at the quad muscle, you can see I haven't lost hardly any atrophy. Okay, this is Dr. Mike with B3 Science Day 9. I've got the bands on here. This is the injured right hip from the hip replacement. And I've moved on now to functional exercises, doing lunges assisted. And normally, with this type of assistance, I couldn't get a good burn on that muscle in the right hip, but with the band on, I'm able to get a really good burn in that hip and also in the other leg, which is going to stimulate that growth hormone response. What I'm able to do here at day 10 is just absolutely amazing. You know, most people aren't even beginning to walk without assistance till day 28 to day 35, and here I am climbing steps and doing short range of motion lunges. Now, why is this able to happen? Because I am rehabilitating these muscles at an amazing rate. These muscles are all getting stronger and they're returning to function. And it's not the joint. The joint has been put back together. It's been cemented. The joint is fine. It's all the soft tissue around the joint that goes through deconditioning and atrophy and takes so long. And I've amazingly returning at a rate that's probably never been seen before. All I did was add the Be Strong into my training regimen. Now let's go out to day 21. Now these are the normal exercises that someone would do it at week 6 to week 8, but here I am at week 3. These are static pictures. Over on the left, I'm doing hip exercises. I've got the red exercise band around my knees, and what I'm doing is I'm doing sidewalks to stimulate the lateral hip muscular and the glute muscles. So I'll walk about 30 feet to the left and 30 feet to the right sideways. You notice I got the Be Strong bands on. In addition, I've got a 10-pound weight pack to add some even more resistance. There in the middle, you're seeing an exercises of just step-ups. Now this is the same exercise I showed you at the beginning that you would normally do. I'm just doing step-ups. I just step up and step down, and I even graduated to where I step up to the second step. I'll step up 2 steps, extend full the way up, and step down. Got the Be Strong band on, even added a 10-pound weight pack to my shoulders. And down there at the bottom, this one was the one that was most amazing. This is a glute bridge. Very difficult to do. I started doing this at day 7, where you have to put the normal leg up in the air, out straight, and you got to push up off the right heel, which is my injured leg. I got an injured knee, an injured hip, and you got to lift your butt off the ground and go parallel. It requires a strong contraction of the glute and hip extensor muscles. Was very difficult. My girlfriend and my daughter that were there helping me out had to literally put a belt around my waist and lift me up in the first few days. But now realize I've got the band on, so I'm getting a different response in the muscle. After a week of doing this, I was able at day 14 to start doing it by myself. At day 21 here, I've added a 10-pound weight. Most people couldn't do this glute bridge until 6 weeks. Here I am adding a 10-pound weight after 3 weeks. And again, I had a knee surgery and a hip replacement. And then if you look there on the top right, no deconditioning or atrophy, which is truly amazing. This is what is probably the most profound result, is I was able to keep the muscles without deconditioning and atrophy, which allows me to return to normal function at a super fast rate. And again, if you look at my knee there, you'll see those 2 little holes on the front of the knee. Add in the fact that I had a knee meniscus repair, should have added time to my rehabilitation. Well, let's take me out to week 5. And this is where I typically was at 10 weeks. Last time took me 10 weeks to get to this spot. Normally, most people would take 12 weeks or more. Here I am at January 10th. I've already returned to work on January 2nd, so I was back to work full time after 4 weeks. I'm walking completely normal. I've had no deconditioning or atrophy, and I've returned to full activities. What's that mean? I get up, I go to work, I drive, I come home. I'm doing my full body workouts now. I go out with take my lady out on dates. I go to my kids' events. Everything I would normally do, I've returned to full activities. I'm sleeping all the way through the night. Amazing what's happened at 5 weeks. And I want to show you this last video on the left side where you'll see hip function that normally would take 12 weeks or more. And again, I'm just at 5 weeks. Hey, this is Dr. Mike with B3. I'm at 5 weeks now after hip replacement surgery, and I'm probably where most people would be at 10 to 12 weeks. I've been doing B Strong every day, and now I'm at 5 weeks. I'm going to show you how well this hip is functioning. I've not lost any muscle tone in my hams or quads, and now I'm doing stairs, and I've got a 10-pound weight pack on. So as you can see, the hip is really functioning well at 10 weeks. This is going upstairs. This is coming down. And then this is at a little bit faster pace going up, and this is going down. Good. As you can see, the function on that hip at 5 weeks is amazing. All to the credit of B Strong. And I'll tell you, if you watched me come down the stairs, you saw how quick I was able to pivot around on that hip. And again, remember, a lot of people are just coming off crutches or a walker at 5 weeks, and here I am at normal recovery. So in summary, I'm absolutely convinced we can add B Strong training to normal rehabilitative protocols. Now, I want to point out again, I didn't do anything different in my first hip replacement that I had in 2014 that I did this time. I only changed one thing. I put the B Strong bands on my legs. I did the normal exercises. What happened? Growth hormone surged to stimulate rapid healing probably at 2 to 3 times the normal weight, preventing deconditioning and atrophy, and stimulating muscle to rebuild and repair, to return that hip to normal function at a speed that's probably unprecedented. So I'm absolutely convinced that, when people have injuries, when they have surgical procedures, that you can change the outcome, of your healing by up to 50% by simply introducing B Strong training into your normal exercises. So, I'm very excited to share this with you. This really changes everything. For me, I knew that it improved health, improved fitness, and improved performance. I knew it was a game changer. I've experienced it. I've seen what this is doing with athletes. I've heard the stories from you. But to now go through a hip replacement and then go through the same procedure with the B Strong training and to see the change, the improvement, I literally got 5 weeks of my life back, of normal life, when I would have been down, I would have been in bed, I would have been not able to return to normal function. It's just absolutely amazing, and I hope this video will stimulate many of you out there to explore the possibilities of adding, the B Strong training into your normal rehabilitative exercises in the event you possibly have an injury or a surgical procedure. So again, this is Dr. Mike DeBoard. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share this exciting story.